Welcome back to Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chella Smith. If you're new here, your Middle East U.S. entertainment news regarding reforms and economics. The past few days, according to Shabak News, has been a celebration in the Middle East as their governments have protected the citizens through their electoral process this year by closing down airports, borders, and everything near to tighten up their electoral areas. According to Al-Farat News, they reported the mayor of Baghdad, Arkachet Mahin, directed the firing of fireworks and the participation of the Iraqis in the wedding celebration as soon as the voting process ended. The mayor of Baghdad directed the municipal departments to launch fireworks from the highest rooftops and the highest buildings in various areas of the capital, Baghdad, to share the joys of the citizens in the electoral weddings. He added that the fireworks would go off in the evening after the polls closed to celebrate the glorious day and the participation of the Iraqis in drawing a picture of their prosperous future. And according to Al-Farat News on Sunday, Prime Minister Mustafa Al-Kazimi received a phone call from the Prime Minister of the Kyrgyzstan Regional Government, Mauzer Barzani, in which he expressed his thanks and appreciation to Al-Kazimi for his efforts and personal supervision of the leader for the success of the 2021 legislation of elections. During the call, Barzani praised the security and the logistical preparations undertaken by the federal government, which contributed to the success of the elections throughout Iraq. Now, according to Baghdad Obsolete, Tyreek Herb reports the electoral process. Let's go over that process now. One, after the Electoral Commission has officially announced the electoral results, those who object to the results have 3 days from the day following the announcement of the results to challenge the results before the electoral judiciary. The second step, the law gives the electoral judiciary 7 days to issue a ruling on an appeal, and the decision of the judiciary body will be final. Third, after completing the foregoing, the Commission shall present the electoral results in their modified form in accordance with the provisions of the judiciary authority to the Federal Supreme Court, which certifies that the final results of the election, usually the approved process by the court, takes about 3 days. Fourth, within the 15 days of the approval of the results, the Presidential of the Republic shall call the new House of Representatives to convene the presidential decree. The fifth, in the first session of the new parliament, the session is held under the chairmanship of the oldest member. Sixth, the first session of Council of Representatives is devoted to electing the Speaker and his 2 deputies, with the approval of an absolute majority of number of council members, that is, with the approval of more than half of the council members. Since the number of council members is 329, the approval of the least 165 deputies is required. 7. The first work done by Council of Representatives after the election of the presidency of Council, the Council opens the door to the candidacy for the position of the President of the Republic, where the approval of the 2/3 of number of the members of Council is required in the first round. The approval of 210 deputies given the number of members is 329. If none of the candidates obtain this, which is what happened in all 4 electoral cycles for Talabani, Mazoum, and the current president, there is a completion between the candidates with the highest number of votes and whomever gets the majority of votes in the second ballot, regardless of the number, is declared president. 8. The President of the Republic assigned to the candidate of the most numerous parliamentary bloc to form the Council of Ministry within 15 days. Contrary to the previous session, Article 45 of the current Election Law 9 of 2020 cuts off the controversy and decides to prevent the transfer of representatives before the formation of the government, which means the most numerous parliamentary bloc is one who obtains the numbers and announces by the electoral commissions and ratifies by the Supreme Court, not the bloc that consists in the House of Representatives, because Article 45 prevents the transition between representatives. Then coalitions begin to achieve the majority required to vote. And last, the majority required to approve the new cabinet is absolute majority of the number of deputies present. If the number of deputies present is 300, then the approved number of 151 is significant for the Prime Minister and ministers. And then according to Baghdad Mwanzi News, as the results came in, who won several blocks, the first place in the Iraqi parliamentary elections that took place Sunday evening. At the level of Iraq, the satirist bloc ranked first with 73 seats, the highest among the Shiites bloc. A coalition headed by former parliament speaker Mohammed al-Habassi won first place among the Sunni region, and more than 40 seats according to the coalition announced within the Kurdish region. The Kurdistan Democrat Party won the highest seats with more than 32 seats. Baghdad Today reported Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi on Monday congratulated the winner candidates in the election. According to the announced results, al-Kazimi said in a tweet on Twitter, "I offer my sincere congratulations to all the sisters and brothers who won the elections." He added, "I congratulate the political forces that will form the next parliament, which we hope we will be of council of work, building and support for the state." Shafak News, the caretaker Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazimi warned Thursday of what he called attempts to deviate from legal content in dealing with the results of the recent legislative elections in Iraq. Al-Kazimi said in a speech during the cabinet session of the caretaker government that these elections have no losers and everyone is a winner because the competition was for the service of Iraq. He added, "We must reconcile with ourselves and with society and open a new page in our political and social lives." Al-Kazimi added, "I call on those who have an appeal to submit it and to follow the appeal legal context and framework, calling on the Independent High Electoral Commission and the judiciary to realize the rights of all on an equal basis." He continued by saying, "Yes, every entity or personality has the right to submit appeals and commissions must follow up the appeals in the seriousness. And we warn against any attempt to deviate from legal contents in dealing with the election results." Shafak News also reports the leader of the satirist movement, Al Satars, announced yesterday his special committee to negotiate with political parties that would establish parliamentary alliance in preparation for the formation of the new federal government in Iraq. The committee is opposed of Hassan al-Hadhari as the chairman, Nazar al-Rubi as the first vice chairman, Nabil Tafari, second deputy, and Hakim al-Zamili supporting the committee, according to the statement issued by al-Satars and signed by him. In the statement, al-Satars addressed the political parties, saying that this negotiation committee represent him exclusively. He added that the committee has full powers in matters of parliamentary political alliance at this stage, adding that they return to us, members of the committee, in the task of their affairs and avoid alliance with those we have comments on. Baghdad Obsolete reported the Electoral Commission has set on Wednesday the 13th the date for announcing the final results of the early parliamentary elections. Imad Jamil, a member of the IHCHR media team, said in a press statement, which was followed by al-Musalla, that the time for submitting appeals against the election results, the Commission's consideration of them, and the decision of federal court in their regards indicates the final results may be announced after 20 days at the end of this month or early November. He explained that the announced results are preliminary and can change significantly, noting that the calculations of the political blocs in the candidates' winning seats in the House of Representatives differ from the Commission's, as it is not possible to select 4 winning men in one district from particular bloc if the least votes are not removed from them and given to a woman, maybe from another party, in order to preserve the women's quota of 25%. And he indicated that the results are not final yet, and the Commission will not abide by them because it is not announced the numbers of winners, their names and seats for each of them. He stressed that the Commission had received complaints from the first day of elections, stressing that there are no complaints thus far about the votes tampering or that they can be changed to election results. And then Baghdad Obsolete reported today the Director General of the Iraqi Women Empowerment Department, Yasra Mozen, said today that according to the parliamentary analysts of the election results, Iraqi women managed to win 97 seats, 14 more than the quota for women, including 2 winners from minorities. While these results showed 57 win with their voting power within the need for a quota. With the successive announcement of parliamentary results of the Iraqi general elections, Iraqi women managed to exceed the number of quota seats allocated to them, which is 25% of the total seats in parliament, equivalent to 83 seats, where the numbers of winners this time reached 97 women. The Iraqi Women Empowerment Department, affiliated to the Council of Ministry, congratulated the winning candidates, considering their success in reaching parliament a necessity step for political participation, and that the winners will represent the voice of Iraqi women in expressing their aspirations. Baghdad Obsolete reported the Prime Minister advisor for the election affairs, Hassan al-Hindawi, confirmed yesterday, the 14th, that the final results will be announced today, Friday, noting that the independent high electoral commissions are working hard all day long to finalize the issue of the results. Al-Hindawi said in a statement to the Radal network, which he followed to Obsolete, that the final results do not differ from what was announced with the parliamentary results, noting that the officials of the electoral commissions are now working on sorting and counting the ballot boxes, which are hoovering and some problems and doubts. And I believe that these will only change a few simple numbers in the results distributed to everyone, and as a result, there are no surprises related to the results. Al-Hindawi denied any fraud or violations of the electoral process, which went smoothly, stressing that these elections use very advanced equipment and from a technology point of view, the preparations and electoral processes are very good compared to other previous elections. He pointed out that the issue of complaints and appeals is a normal thing that occurs in every special elections from parties that believe that they have lost a number of seats in the upcoming Iraqi parliament, but the Electoral Commission is keen to adhere to aspects of integrity, and it is not in its interest to take sides with any party. And we have sought from the beginning to make these a success, the elections. He added that the hall is crowded with international observers, Arabs, and Iraqis, representatives of the electoral bloc, and the media, and all operations are conducted with complete transparency in front of everyone. He concluded his speech by saying, tomorrow, which is today, we will finish the results, and after ratification, they will be sent to federal court, and any party has the right to submit objections through legal means. The parliamentary results of the elections revealed that the Satirist movement, led by Muqtada al-Sadrs, won the highest number of seats in the Iraqi parliament with 73 seats. The Taqadum party, led by Mohammed al-Habasi, came in second place after winning 38 seats. The State of Law bloc, headed by former Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki, came third with 37 seats. On Wednesday, October 13th, 2021, the National Coalition issued a strongly worded statement regarding the results of the parliamentary elections, while the coalition held the government and the electoral commissions fully responsible for that. Baghdad today, the President of the Republic, Barham Saleh, and the President of the Supreme Judiciary Council, Faik Zaidan, issued a joint statement regarding the elections and constitution obligation based on our national constitution and legal responsibility, and in the interest of the integrity of the constitutional process and democratic path in the country, and emphasizing the need to protect the interests of the Iraqis, and in the interest of the country's security and stability, and work not to be drawn into any escalation that might affect the public security. We affirm the resorting to the people is a basis and constitutional principle as the source of the legitimacy of the government, and the elections are a national entitlement and a peaceful democratic path to return to its citizens and their choices, and the need to achieve Iraqis' confidence in the electoral process to be an expression of their true will. Shabak News. The presidency of the Kyrgyzstan region said in a statement today, the president of the region, Narchibin Barzani, met with Jenny Hennis Plashart, The special representative of the Secretary General in Iraq. During the meeting, they discussed the progress and results of voting process in Iraq parliament elections, the situation in the country in general, and the expectations for the future of the political process. The two sides expressed their aspirations that the results of the elections would result in the formation of a government that meets the wishes and hopes of all components and provides space, stability, and services for all Iraqis. The two sides agree on the need to resolve the appeal and observations recorded in the election results by legal means. Following up with Mwanzi news, in the mix of all the election news, oil prices recorded today a big jump, headed towards achieving weekly gains of more than 2%, aimed increasing signs of tight supply during the next few months. Brent crude future rose 28 cents or 0.3% to 84.28 a barrel. U.S. West Texas crude contracts also rose 30 cents or 0.4% to reach 81.61 cents a barrel. Analysts pointed to the sharp decline in oil stocks in the Organizations for Economic Cooperation and Development to their lowest levels since 2015. The Central Bank of Iraq launched its secondary strategies for the year 2021 to 2023 in conjunction with the economics and financial reform strategy adopted by the government in the white papers. The new strategy has drawn a roadmap with clear objectives and policies for the next 3 years in a special, complex, and risky economic and financial situation, and the challenges of the new levels of internal and external economics and financial relationships, with concerns us as the specialists in economics, financial, and banking affairs, is what are the new mechanisms and policies adopted by the central bank in monetary policy and banking reform in accordance with the approach of fundamental change, desire for national economy contained in the white papers and the secondary strategy, which constitutes the banking sector, the link, the first and basic in economy, and the implementer of monetary policy application. The strategy of the central bank sets the main objectives at 15 objectives and the subsidiary objectives by 75 objectives, and the chart the way for banking reforms in accordance with the following strategic objectives. 1 is supporting and achieving monetary and financial stability. 2, enhancing and strengthening the banking sector and financial institutions. 3, enhancing digital transformation in the central bank and banking sector. 4, developing the organizational structure and human resources of central bank. And last, activating and integrating the internal and external relations of the central bank. Since these strategic goals have been set for a period of 3 years to achieve the main and substantial goals, which emphasizes the protection of financial systems, the strengthening of financial inclusion, the management of monetary and financial stability, the development of control and supervision, the development of regulations in the banking sector, and the completion of development of monetary structure in the central bank and its branches in accordance with work frameworks and technical authorized in the central bank, development of human resources, developing of banking operations, strengthening of the bank's internal and external relations and its representation locally and internationally. Through the analysis of the mechanisms and actions point to achieve the above goals, we note that the strategies identified the planning team, the implementation mechanisms, and the responsibility, as well as a clear priorities for achieving reform. Certainly, these priorities were discussed, diagnosed in a light of challenges they face, monetary policy and banking sectors due to the suffocating economics and financial crisis that Iraq has suffered for the subject in objective reasons. And last, Alpharet News, Rafidellian Bank launched loans for shop owners and professionals. A source in the bank told Alpharet News the bank launched loans worth 25 million dinars, and he indicated that those loans are guaranteed to owners of shops, workshops, and professionals. There's a lot going on with these elections. That's it for this week's review. You've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review, your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics. I'm Chella Smith. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like my content, give me a thumbs up. I will see you all next Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific for your next Newsroom updates. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Make sure you join us Fridays, 4 p.m. with Newsroom Updates with Chella Smith, Entertainment News. And don't forget us on Sundays for What's Cooking in the Kitchen. You can also find us behind the scenes 24/7 on Snapchat.